wait if you want. Oh, yeah.
You ready to stand up?
It only has to be 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
That's it.
It's time.
I've got a timer ready.
Whether or not you graduate.
5 minutes is a long time.
No big deal.
You can talk about whatever you want.
I feel really good about it.
You can stand right in that chair.
Let's say we share like a yard, he'll probably egg my apartment. He knows where I live, guys. So,
Couldn't be better.
How was it Lowe's?
It was great.
Was it?
Yeah.
I could go back.
Yeah.
So you didn't see the witness?
No.
No. They almost forgot.
Yeah.
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father God, we thank you for this opportunity for us to meet tonight. Thank you for bringing us all safely here this evening. God, we thank you for the wonderful staff, students of this school. Father God, we ask you for your wisdom and blessings, and may we act and make decisions that are pleasing to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Welcome, everybody. You ready for roll call?
John Bean.
Here.
Joanne Hathaway. Here. Brian Hughes.
Here.
Jason McLean.
Here.
David Page.
Here.
Steve Russell. And Brandon Bowman.
Here.
All right, so at this time, we're going to recess the regular meeting and open the public hearing for the proposed 2026 budget. The floor is now open for public comments on the proposed operating budget, the capital project plan, and the bus replacement plan. The members today do not need to comment or answer questions. The superintendent and NVCSC school board will take your comments under advisement. If you wish a written response, please leave your address with the administrative secretary. Specific names should be withheld from comments without that person's written consent. Any questions from the public regarding the 2026 operating budget, capital projects, or bus replacement plan? Okay, if no comment, we are going to close the budget hearing and reconvene the regular board meeting. All those in favor of closing the public hearing and reconvening the regular meeting, say aye. All those opposed? All right, regular meeting is convened. Okay, so now, any changes to the agenda for this evening?
There's not a change in the agenda, but there's some additions to person. So no change.
All right, so we'll need an approval of the agenda.
Second.
Okay, so we have Jason that makes the first motion, and then we have John for the second. Okay. All right, and then we'll need an approval of the meeting minutes. Oh. All those, okay, I forgot that part. Wait, I'm going through that. Yeah, you messed me up. All right. All those in favor? Aye. All right, now we need approval of the minutes. I think I've done that before.
I'll make that motion. And approval of the minutes.
Okay. In a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We have Joetta and Brian. Got it?
Yes.
All right, moving right along to school highlights and results.
Do you want to introduce the program? Did you want to introduce what program is? You want to-
Sure. So this year we're starting a new program to honor students that exemplify what we call SOAR. And those acronyms I don't have in front of me, so I apologize. But it's on the plaque for the recipients tonight. But each month, the board is going to give out this award that's voted on by the staff at each building. So I don't know if you want to do that first and then go into your highlights. So at this time, we'll do that, and we're also going to get a picture if the teachers are here or if their administrators are here of those. We've got some nice things to say about the students, which is what we do.
And a 5-minute speech.
And they're 5 minutes
5
each.
minutes. Then right, you're ready to talk? Okay. At the elementary level, Mrs. Medina nominated Mason Lido from her preschool classroom, so we'll have them come on up and come up with Mrs. Lido. Mom can come too if you want her to. Can you come with Mrs. Lido? No, Mom's just do that. Okay. Maybe Lynn's do that. Oh, you can come right up, wherever you are. Okay, so my nomination for Mason was that this is my second year having him, and he's really a joy to have in class. He consistently works hard academically, behaviorally, and socially, so for preschooler, that's huge. He regularly participates in class and helps his classmates when he can. He's also a great citizen of our school, but he always finds ways to help around our classroom, such as picking things up, organizing, and sweeping, and his absolute favorite, vacuuming. Which takes that off of Mrs. Medina, especially at the end of the day when he's waiting on Mom, and I love that. He's a great addition to our classroom, our school, and our community. Congratulations. We're very proud of you.
Nice job.
Can you smile a little bit? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Are you ready? Okay. Do you know how curtains do? Yeah. I mean, we could. You're kind of weird. Okay, as many of you may know, this is Sean Martin. So my new order. But he was actually nominated by, what is your instructor's name? Yes, and he runs the CDL program at Park Heritage. So we have several students that go to that program, and I got a call from him probably early September. When did you pass? Yeah, right in there, early September. And he called me because Sean is in the CDL program, and he took his first CDL test, which is extremely hard, and a lot of students have to take it multiple times. Well, Sean passed it on the first time out. He thought that that was worth calling me over because that's just not fun. In his words, he said that Sean's one of the best and hardest workers, and it comes to him naturally. So that's kind of a huge deal, especially for someone who maybe isn't into calling other schools that often, like he's a vocational teacher. So for him to take time to pick up the phone and call me about that is a pretty huge deal. So we were unanimously nominated for that. And SOAR, in case you really want to know, you're going to hang this, like, clear off your athletics. Boom, right? Yeah. But striving for excellence, owning your name, which obviously you are, acting with integrity, which you do, and rising the challenges, which I think you certainly have. Okay, do you guys want one as family?
We're gonna do it outside.
Oh, perfect. Congratulations.
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 Thank you.
Nice job. Sean's not the way.
We can get it for you. Tell your mom and be like, I'll see you on the football game, I'll tell her.
Mrs. Britton?
Yeah.
We're being requested for a better photo op, is that okay?
I really
We'll take 2 seconds.
We're gonna take a photo off.
Yes.
Good thing is about those guys though, they've got protection, they're harnessed off. and you're-
Yeah, but still will make you feel
Oh, I
more
know.
comfortable when you're hanging off a pole.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
If you want, I can start my shoes.
Sure.
Okay. So, I do have a video here. Let's see how I time it. This is our bonfire. That's Mr. Davis. So that was just homecoming highlights. We did a bonfire for the first time in a long time and they had a really good time. We weren't quite sure how big of a turnout we'd get, but kids stayed for a long time. It was one of those things where we were like, okay, it's 10:30. You have to leave now. You can go wherever you want, but you can't stay here. We were like kind of herding them out, which is really cool. There are a lot of cool things for homecoming. I want to say a special thank you to Mrs. Bean and Mr. Davis for pulling that off. Because you name it, they did it. There were scavenger hunts, there were dress-up days, there was lunchtime games, there was limbo, there was karaoke, there was floats, there was hallway decorating. Like I said, you name it, we participated in it for fall homecoming. And our floats even, the principal of Covington stopped me at the game and she was like, hey, floats on these. And I was like, yeah, every year, this is fantastic. And she was like, can we buy them off of you? Like, our fans are gonna be really upset with the holiday. And I was like, can we have them not drive by? She said, that'd be great. But so we got a lot of compliments on our kids. And there's just some pictures from homecoming. It was a really good time. And big shout out to the Cuba Fire Department for coming because if they had not been there, I don't know that we would have gotten started. There was we had trouble getting lit, but obviously it worked. And the seniors won the class cup for the week, so they get a half-day pizza movie party, and what better class to win for fall homecoming than seniors, so they did a fantastic job. I've been updating on attendance, so I figured we'd keep it rolling. I think we're at 95%, which is where we should be for the state in August. I checked, Friday, we're at 97%, which is awesome. Especially for our kids, we have a lot of coming and going when you have drivers who can, call their mom and have them sign them out, or you have people who may or may not stop at McDonald's on the way back from vocational. So 97% rate is huge for us, so that is wonderful. Upcoming things in life at school, we had the wetlands field trip today, so all of the 8th graders, luckily it rained, trekked out to the wetlands at Duke and got to experience that, and it was a lot of fun. We had 2 parents go along with them, and somebody was holding a huge catfish, I heard, so look for pictures on that. Choral Fest is October 1st. We take a lot of kids there. Mr. West does a fantastic job with both our band and our choir, so they were practicing today. Actually, Dustin was gonna cut through the band room to come in, and the student stopped him and said, this is important. He doesn't have, oh no, just got the videos. We don't even know. He doesn't like, I'll walk around. So they're very excited. The PSAT is coming up for sophomores on the 22nd of October. That is a yearly test all sophomores take to gauge whether they're ready for the SAT, which they have to take as juniors. That's the new state assessment for the academic honors diploma. They can also earn it through taking dual credit and AP, but if you're only halfway as that diploma, they have to pass the SAT, which is kind of I wouldn't say unrealistic, but our students aren't always motivated to get a high score on the SAT because it's no harm, no foul to them. So, they have other buckets, but the PSAT's coming up and that gives them some advice or ideas on where they're ranking so far. Our fall academic banquet is also on the 22nd. So if you have time to attend that, that'd be awesome. That's usually when we hand out jackets and all those kind of things. The coffee house is coming up on the 27th, and that's a band performance, but it's done typically at Peter Christian Church. So it's a coffee house style version. They go and play, they kind of, there's coffee and people mingle. It's kind of a neat setting if you haven't seen that. And then Aaron's Law presentation is a state touch presentation that every school in the state of Indiana is required to do yearly. They call it Aaron's Law because that's where it comes from. So we have Valley Professional, the counselors come in and take care of that 7 through 12. So they give 3 different presentations, and that's very appropriate. So that's coming up too. And then also Ms. Medina is going to be hosting some parent presentations coming up as well. I'll keep you informed of that. Then of course, sure. And that's our last one. Have at it, ma'am.
Thank you. Amazingly, as you talk, I remember things. I'm like, oh, okay.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. So I would second tonight. So our 6th graders just participated in the 4-H Conservation Day here at the Vermillion County Fairgrounds on the 12th. Which is part of the neat thing was one of our 5th graders participated as a presenter. She was working one of the sections that the kids rotated around in. That was neat. Our 3rd grade classes hosted their book buffet, which if you haven't seen the pictures, Mr. Kent, all decked out in his red tux. It's beautiful. And they have a great time at that. Also on the same day, our junior SRO of the month, which if you've not watched the video of her calling in and reporting for duty, it is the best video on the internet. It is amazing. So we have each month through the SRO program, they have a character trait. Last month was respect. This month responsibility. They have different activities geared more towards grade levels, coloring pages that they submit, different things that they submit. And then teachers nominate a student from their class to be recognized as a junior SRO. Do you want to go? Why am I talking?
That's fine.
Go.
It's
Do you want to?
it's just character based, and each kid that's nominated in each classroom is recognized with a junior SRO badge and a certificate to recognize that they went above and beyond in the class. So, and then of the 4th and 5th or 4th through 6th grade classrooms, each of those teachers can nominate a kid from their classroom to be junior SRO for the day, basically. And they go wear a badge and run around with us and kind of do what we do for a day.
And, forgetting, you're pretty humble. What's the magazine?
It was submitted to
NASRO.
NASRO's National Magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's pretty neat. Yeah,
I'm like a local celebrity.
And hanging on the teacher's lounge.
yeah.
And I don't think you could have seen a bigger smile on a kid's face that
Oh, yeah.
whole day. I mean, she wore it was
It's a
like
badge, it was a
legitimate
badge that looks like this that I had. It's an actual physical heavy badge that I had made for them to wear while they were on duty.
Yeah.
And
Carry your radio.
she said her face hurt so bad at the end of the day because she smiled so much.
She smiled the whole day. She
Awesome.
walked around with Officer Hawkins, went out to the car. She came over here and I think arrested her brother, which is good because he'd been mean to her that much.
Yeah.
Made her late or something.
Yes, made her late. She was upset with him. She's like, it's great. So it's a very neat program, and the thing that with the entire SRO program, especially with the littles, is changing the mindset of how they view police officers. That they are not there as the bad guy. You know, this is a source. This is someone keeping you safe. This is someone you can go to. And so we work really hard to keep them separate from. They don't interact with discipline. That is not their purpose to be there. They are there to support kids, befriend kids, and they do an amazing job. They get in there and do great things.
To add to the program, I forgot another vital point. I actually had an SRO. You guys know the challenge point, what challenge points are used for. If you don't know what they're used for, it's getting a challenge point in the military and law enforcement. It's like an award that is given from one person to another, one department to another for going above and beyond. And I had challenge points made for the kids. So every kid that gets junior SRO of the month will get a challenge point to take home to keep. as like a token for them. And then at the end of the year, I'm working on getting a IDEA on board to let me bring those 10 kids that get that through the year to go to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy to see how they do things there. So it's looking pretty promising for those kids to be able to do that. So
That's wonderful. And Mrs. Burton, you mentioned the digital safety talk that Officer Medina is setting up for both buildings. And this is one to equip parents on what to look for on your students' devices and the things that might be hidden when they hand them over and say, yeah, you can look through. And not as gotchas, but as ways to protect our kids and ways to keep our kids safe. So he's got a few presenters that are going to come in and help. Got some funding to help with childcare and food for the event. So don't simply do anything. But we're hoping parents come in, and it's just that look at, okay, how do I protect my kid from what's out there? Because unfortunately, there's too much, and it's too easy to get pulled into some of that stuff. And it's secret forever once it's out there. So some really great things. He's also going to be speaking with, I don't know if we nailed down what grade levels, especially like our 5th and 6th grade students in an age appropriate way, how they can stay safe while online. You know, just kind of we have also had 3 additional staff members receive CPI training. So that's the training on safe holds and restraints should the need arise, you know, in a school setting where a student might need to be restrained for either their safety or another student's safety. So we have 3 more staff members who are certified in that training, which just means that a few more sets of hands that we can call on in those situations. 4th graders were able to attend the Living History Days recently, which just is, they always enjoy that. It's kind of a great field trip for them. Tomorrow is Grandparents' Day. Gearing up and we're ready for this because it's a lot of people in that building at once. It's kind of intense. So, but we're kind of excited. Each grade level claimed an activity they wanted to do. If you want to be entertained, I'd suggest coming. Everything from preschool singing Skin Ranky Dinky Dink, which I think is just going to make all grandparents do and off, to 4th grade doing the evolution of dance. So, I mean, this is going to be something to be entertained by. I think 6th graders are rapping about their grades. I don't know. They chose. They're owning it. They want to do it. It's going to be great. Just to give you a little update on our electives program, going really, really, really well. I'm getting lots of good feedback from people. Have had a few outside groups. I think I may have shared. We have a pampered chef consultant who got a hold of us and said, I'm not selling a thing, but this is the coolest thing I've heard of. Can I come do a cooking demonstration for your class and like do kid-friendly recipes? And like, yes, you can. Thompson's Cosmetology is, I think, going to be sharing or donating some supplies, but they also want us to come and visit and do a field trip. So our group is going to be heading to Thompson sometime. Our very first vet patient is getting an exam tomorrow or on Thursday. So poor thing, I know what she's about to get into. But that's so our vet medicine program is kicking off this round. One teacher sits out as the lab teacher every rotation, so she was out last rotation. Excuse me. So she's doing her first patient exam on Thursday. And I've been meeting with Craig Newby, who oversees the program, the CTE programs at the high school level. And so he's getting us some contacts of maybe CTE teachers who can come in and meet with our elementary teachers or even just present to our students to share what they can expect and what they can look forward to.
The elective deal is great, like Macy talks about that often.
Yeah.
You know, switching that up and letting the kids like get out of the routine, you know,
Yeah.
have something new.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's going really well. I will say the only hiccup right now, we're looking at creative ways for funding because some of our teachers are just, as teachers do, they're just buying their own supplies. So when she's buying, items for a recipe, she's just kind of, they're providing. I've tried to tell them, like, don't do that, turn in receipts, we'll try to help you guys out. And that's one of the things that Craig is trying to help us with is how can we create some funding? Because soil costs money, just different things cost money. So he's trying to work with us on that. So, I did forget to add that our health careers rotation with Laura Cottom is seventh graders, and they're doing an option to be CPR certified, so that's also pretty cool. You know, just neat opportunities.
Awesome. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Alright. And we have no public participation. Moving right along, recommendations.
The first recommendation tonight is we need a conflict of interest statement for reviews with the recent addition of Figure members, Figure of the transportation route. So we just need to make that board approved as he reads his disclosure statement. So we can do that at this time. You ready?
Yeah, see if I remember how to do that. So, state name, Brian Hughes, Harrisville, Highland Township, and the conflict of interest. I have an additional conflict of interest from my previously filed conflict of interest in that I have a spouse and a son who is under contract for transportation.
So we have a motion to approve the conflict of interest.
I'll make a motion to approve the conflict of interest.
Second it.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
That was Brandon and John.
Second thing, we updated our out-of-district policy back in July of 2025. The state had some things to do with Neola, and we passed that through. And part of that is you have to list caps for out-of-district students by October 1st. We need to state that. It's in your packet. It's on page 2 where it says the board will establish a date by which request to enroll a transfer student must be submitted to the superintendent. The date shall be submitted to the Indiana Department of Education and published on the full person's website. This is not restricting students from attending North Lane. What it does is for those students who live out of district, if we are capped at certain grade levels or certain programs, then we have an option to do what's called a lottery. Or as an administrator, if they review their out-of-district applicant form, they can make a decision if they are going to allow or deny that student. So my recommendation tonight, set before you, is to set our district caps for out-of-district students for life skills classrooms at 15. Grades K to 2, 40 per grade level with 2 sections, and 60 per grade level at 3 sections. Grades 3 through 6, 50 per grade level with 2 sections, 75 at 3 sections, and grades 7 through 12, 75 per grade level. And again, this is just for those students that are out of district. Anybody that lives in district, no matter what the number is, we take them. I would make a recommendation that we set those caps for the policy.
Any questions? We need a motion to approve. All right, Jason makes a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Gillette seconds, and all those in favor?
Aye.
The next thing is new from the DOE that we, as a corporation, need to approve guidelines for student threat assessment. Officer Medina has graciously set this up for us, and what this is we have a student who makes a threat or towards another student, staff member, or themselves. When consequences are given out, there needs to be some type of formal screening before they're let back into the regular classrooms, just to make sure that everybody is safe. Mostly the student that's coming back in, that we've equipped them, giving them resources to deal with whatever they're dealing with, and also keep everybody else safe. So I want to thank Mr. Medina for putting this together. It's a very, very thorough document. We need to submit this to the state and use this moving forward when we have students that are coming back after an expulsion or extended suspension. So I'm asking for your approval to accept the guidelines for student growth assessment.
Question is, are these, like, our own developed guidelines, or are we pulling these from somewhere? Is it like a industry, educational standard somewhere?
You're right, me.
Yes.
Sorry. I want to make sure it's okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
permission to speak.
So I pulled it from, Danville, Indiana's has their own police department. This is partially theirs. And a few other different schools that I pulled the information from and then made it ours. So I pulled from several different schools to kind of, because we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. They're a really big city, so it's a different protocol than.
And I will tell you, a lot of schools don't, and I've already had a couple ask if they can borrow the students from us. And of course, we would do that.
With the watermark, though, no.
Every time they use one of
Has
our
the-
forms,
it
they
has
gotta
the
go
fountain
stash.
embedded in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Put it on teachers, pay teachers, we'll take
There you go.
it. It was something that neighboring school asked if we could, if we do use it, if we can include in their files for transfer records, like the discipline records, and we can't do that for the state. So that's just protecting kids even more who maybe go back and forth between schools too, so.
And protects us too, we're
Absolutely.
receiving those students.
Yeah. Better communication.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, any other questions on that? Okay, so we will need a motion to approve the threat assessment guidelines.
I'll make a motion to approve the threat assessment guidelines.
Okay, so Brandon makes the motion.
I'll second that.
Gillette, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Last item for action tonight is under personnel. We've got one resignation. That letter is in the packet from Mrs. Rebecca Orr. We have one termination for Jody Brown, and then we have 4 appointments. Gary Schmidt is being recommended for high school special education and math. Luann Dunham, who co-drove bus route 5, is now the driver of bus route 1 full-time. Mokia Jones is going to be a substitute aide on our special ed morning route bus. And then Lauren O'Neill, who is a second grade teacher, is going to be a volunteer coach for varsity volleyball. So she would like to help some of the bench with the volleyball team. And so we can vote on those individually, or we can break them down as one group. How would you like?
I'm fine doing it all together. As long as everyone agrees.
I think a recommendation for the personnel.
Do we have a motion to approve personnel?
I'll make that motion.
We have John, motion. Do we have a second? And Jason, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Treasurer's report.
All right, Jason, you're out.
For the claims for 62,190 to 62,311 in the amount of $504,257.19. On the payrolls for August 1st, 2025, in the amount of $154,264.83. August 15th, 2025, to the amount of $206,868.61. And also August 29th, for 2025, to the amount of $201,883.61.
Second that.
Jason makes a motion and Brian seconds. All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Before I turn things over to Paul, I did want to, in your packet behind your claims is our savings account. You guys have maybe requested looking at what that was. The amount that we put in a CD at 3.8% back in the summer. And once that 91-day CD came to term, it became a little over $9,000, and so we just renewed that CD just recently for another 91 days at a rate of 3.89%. And that term is up on 11/12. And so that kind of gives you an idea of where that money is at and what it's doing as far as the interest rate goes. Hopefully, the interest rate will maintain or even go higher when we get to that next term, but I'm going to recommend that we just roll it back in and move the interest with it as well. So there won't be anything to show until after that term, that the money is the money, and so the balance there is at the bottom of that back page, you can see. So we're got questions about that. And, I want to include that with your packet.
You have got your cash flows in front of you, want to talk about that briefly, and I want to share something else with you. Cash flow at education fund is fine. It's moving along kind of where we thought it was. We started the year with 1.9 million. It shows right now about 1.85 at the end of the year. Should be in that ballpark somewhere. The operations fund is down a little bit. We're going to have to take a good look at that at the end of the year for 2026. You know that Senate Bill 1 is getting into the operations fund in school corporations. Big time in some schools.
Say that again, Paul.
The operations fund is getting hit in 2026 by Senate Bill 1. That's the homestead credit. It's now figured in with the capital, the caps. So your caps a year ago were about 60,000. Your caps and the homestead credit is about 120,000. So it added 60,000 to it. So next 2026 won't be so bad, because 2006 you were allowed to raise that levy 4%. So it kind of offset the loss. In 2027, it's zero. We don't raise it. In 2028, which everybody's starting to really talk about now, it's also zero. So again, I must say that you're the school corporations I work with, you're getting hit the least in there. And that's because I think your taxes are pretty low. They really are very stable. They're pretty low when you look at the rest. Most school corporations are well over $1. You're way below $1. So as you look at that, that's good for you because you're not slammed in that front. I'm working with a school corporation that's going to lose 20% of their budget. And it goes from about $6 million and they're going to lose $1.4 million. That's devastating. Because you got to remember, the operations fund is a fund that never goes down. Never goes down. Your utilities, your insurance, your transportation, your supplies, what's reduced? You have no control over most of it. So you're going to really get, they're going to really get, they've got to figure that out as they go along. But everybody's more worried about 27 and 28 than they are 26. Because of that increase in 26 that they will have. I gave you this, it's made around just to show you kind of where you are as a school corporation in the last 4 years. And it's really very stable. If you look at even our projected estimates in 2026, I didn't know until late this afternoon that your actual assessed value has come in at 481 million. So that's still in the ballpark of what I had put down. That means that 481 and I had 475, those tax rates will be down. And get pretty close to matching last year. Debt service may be even lower than last year. So,
So the two rates for 2025 are artificially inflated because the APs
yeah.
The 47.
That's how it works.
Okay.
Okay. If you look at the levies, they're pretty stable. The operations fund is allowed to go up 4%. Again, now, in 2027 and 28, if they indeed stay with the zero increase, those levies won't change. And they're gonna start taking money out of it. So we're gonna have to watch that as you go along, is how you continue to pay for things and where can you reduce, if at all. But your budgets are pretty solid. Your education fund should reflect your enrollment. And it does. You look at your education budgets, they keep going up, but your enrollment is doing well. And the first year of the bias and everything, that the state always gives you more money the first year, a little less money the second year. So we're going in now into the second year. And, but gee whiz, you look at, what, 2023, that had 4.8 million budget, you got 6.2 now. Your budget should reflect your revenue, and it does. You don't want it to be a lot less, but you certainly don't want it to be more, because the state will just cut back. So you're in pretty good shape. The operations budget was allowed to grow 4%, that's what it did. And as I said earlier, that may change tonight. Just for a couple of years.
Paul, that operations fund levy, is that straight line 4% across those 4 years? Is that?
No, I think 23 may have been 5%. There was some changes early on it. But the last few years have been 4%. But 23 may have been 5%. 24 might have been 5%. But I know the last two have been 4%. That's, I just wanted you to see that, so you kind of get it in your head, kind of where you are, and well, it's probably going to hang for a while.
This is really nice. This makes a pretty good picture of your new sheet here.
That comes from the 17 years and straight from BLGF after they approved it. Now, obviously, they haven't approved 2026. But in late November, early December, will be you can compare it to the actual.
So the October count date is, or the fall count date is October 1st. So that's when the state pulls our ADM, our average daily membership. And then that's when they say, okay, this is how many students that you have in your corporation times this amount of money. And that's how you get your budget.
Later this year?
There, a couple of years, they only did one a year, but then last year they reinstated a second count date in the spring. And so you look at your fall numbers, you look at your spring numbers, sometimes we gain, sometimes we lose, but I was looking at overall at the end of the year, so we're up about 218 right now, which is great. Hopefully we can keep that. Any questions for Paul? Just a couple of updates, nothing major, but I am meeting with a company called Fortress Mobile next week on bus cameras. We've had a huge, unfortunately, increase in stop arm violations this year more than any. I want to thank Mr. Medina, but also want to thank the Medina County Sheriff's Department, because anytime the bus driver calls in and reports that, if he's here, he calls and he will check it out. Medina County will check it out, and we've written some tickets for that. This company is good because you can sign up for a program where you can offset the cost of cameras with the tickets that you write. So that's a good deal, bad deal type of thing.
You might as well
The
get.
more tickets you write, the cheaper the cameras are, but we don't really want to write tickets. That's dangerous. Yes. So, but I am going to look into that, and that hopefully, maybe next spring, we can do something with stop arm cameras and as well as interior cameras.
I don't know. I know you're looking at me like, that's a new one. It does sometimes sound, but not usually that loud. It's probably a good sign.
Second thing is I would like for you guys, I don't think we need to vote on this, but we've trained some new bus drivers, and you can register your corporation to be a bus training site. And what that entails is you set up a little course and put some things down on the ground. And so when people are training bus drivers, they should come here and use the course. We've got plenty of room to do that. And we've got a couple people that do train our drivers. So I'm probably gonna apply to be a registered bus skills test site. So. What? We can.
What if it's a donation?
Donation.
Well, I think what we try to do is help other corporations, but we've also paid some trainers. And I think we've got some people that would help us out quite a bit more if we could do it here and use our buses.
$60,000.
Yeah. Also, just so you know, I do have a couple extra meetings in a month because I accidentally got elected to be a chairman on District 4 superintendents. So that just entails me being out of the office a couple times a month to serve that role.
I'll see you next time.
Might be seeing Ben for a track issue, I don't know. Come here soon.
So that's just information on that. And then lastly, we're gonna have to set a tentative agreement public hearing with the situation with our ISTA president being under the weather. So we haven't reached a tentative agreement yet. So by law, you have to have a public hearing, then you have to have board vote. So we're gonna have to set up a meeting. As soon as I can get a tentative agreement, I will alert you, we can come up with a date to have that. So other than that, it's been a quiet day. We were ready for one, and so everything continues. We're getting closer to fall break. But I think the administration, again, they've been going through taking a lot of punches here lately, and literally some punches from so they do a really, really good job. Thank you, Mr. Medina, for all he does, Mr. Footer, you guys as well, you're very supportive. So that's all I have.
Kim.
All right,
Thank you for being here.
that was you. You took a punch?
Well, it just came from like all this. Several questions.
Yeah,
What if I?
Yeah.
Too much because it's
Please don't take that from
but those are 30 is like a certain-
She made it sound like it was like,
Wow.
here.
Yeah.
I think so.
Five club, here we go.
That would find like.
Stronger.
One of the numbers each those came class. Those will be a day, those are 30 might be 3.
Yeah. Don't come to me, but she's good. I thought everything was resolved until I noticed your sheets were so like, and sometimes I have to.
Yeah.
Do it off,
Yeah,
but
like-
it's cool. Then it's a
Yeah.
situation. So, yeah.
Probably a reason she had to think about what she was wearing.
And you might really, taking applications.
So do it
Somebody
for training.
max. Okay, let me think about that.
I wore a dress. one
Yeah,
day.
I need to get
Short
my,
dress. And I was like.
my certification is 20 years
So I
ago.
brought her. Oh, yeah, I bring her.
For you, it's no big deal.
You never know, you right, yeah, like that.
Let me see if I can, I might be able to get something for free.
That'd be really cool. We love
Yeah,
it.
you know, give the kids like, hey, look, this is yours.
Yeah. And I think honestly, we're definitely